Good afternoon, students. Welcome you all in this e-learning class. Today I shall discuss God of Small Things by Arundhati Rai, a novel which is included in your syllabus, and this lecture is primarily for the semester 4 students of BA program course. Now, The God of Small Things is a novel written by Arundhati Roy, and significantly, the most significant point regarding this novel is that Roy has won the Man Booker Prize by writing this novel, and this was her debut novel. And it is a story about the childhood experiences of fraternal twins named Rahil and Esther. Now, fraternal twins is a biological term which means that when two sperms ovulate with two eggs, it becomes a fraternal twin. So, human beings born from dizygotic egg. Interestingly, in this novel, the lives of these twin brothers and sisters were destroyed by the love laws that lay down that who should be loved and how and to what extent. This is the fundamental question that Arundhati Roy posits in this novel. The title of the book draws our attention to that, and it explores how small, insignificant things affect people's behavior and their lives. This book finally won the Booker Prize in 1997, and let me tell you that in the year 2013, a Pakistani web series, television series named Tal Khian was directed by Khalid Ahmed, and the story is based on Roy's God of Small Things. Now, for the sake of convenience and for your easy understanding, I have divided this entire discussion regarding this novel into three parts. In the first part of my lecture, I shall discuss or I shall go very briefly the outline of the text, what happens. In the second lecture, I shall discuss the important themes regarding this novel, the important questions that may come in your exam, and the significant issues in this text. And in the last part, in the third part of my lecture, I shall discuss bit significant points regarding the narrative technique, the autobiographical element, and the eco-critical approach in this novel. So let's start. The plot of this novel is set in Aymenem. Aymenem, it is a town which is part of the Kottayam district in modern day Kerala, India. This temporal setting of this book shifts back and forth between the year 1969, when the story is set, describing the events of the contemporary period, and in the final part, in the concluding part of the book, the story ends in the year 1993, when these two fraternal twins, Rahil and Esther, are united. So, very roughly, this book concentrates on a period of 30 years, 30 to 31 years. The central character is, of course, Ammu, who is the mother of Rahil and Esther. Now, students often get confused regarding the name. Esther is the boy whose actual name is Esthapen. Shortly, we call it Esther, or the novelist herself called or written Esther. Rahil is Esther's younger sister. Rahil is the name of the girl, although it sounds as masculine name, but it is actually Rahil is a girl, and Esther, whose original name is Esthapen, he is the boy. Now, Ammu Ipe is desperately trying to escape her ill-tempered father. Her father is named Papachi, and her bitter mother, who is suffering from a prolonged illness known as Mamachi. Typical Malayali language, Papachi and Mamachi. Now, she persuades her parents to let her spend a summer with a distant relative in Calcutta. She comes to Calcutta, and there she fell in love with a man, right? in order so that she can never return to IMNM, right, from the restrictions imposed in her domestic sphere. But to her dismay, Ammu found out some years after her marriage that her husband is an alcoholic, right? And not only that, her husband physically abused her, molested her, and tried to pin her to his boss for his professional development or career. So, this is the nature of a very cynical man, very nefarious kind of husband. Now, she eventually gives birth to this twin, Rahel and Esther Ammu, and after her heartbreak, she leaves her husband and returns to IMNM so that she can live with her parents. Now we come to know about the brother of Ammu named Chako. Chako has returned to India from England, and Chako there had married an English woman named Margaret, and Chako also had divorced his wife, and after her father died, he came to India. Now, the main source of income of the family is that they own a pickle factory, right? And eventually, very obviously, Chako is the head of that pickle factory. Because in a patriarchal setup, typical patriarchal setup, the son eventually gets control of the family business, and this novel is of no exception. Now, the multi-generational family of IMNM includes Papaji's sister Navomi. So, she is the aunt of Ammu, but she is known by the name Baby Kochamma. Now, Baby Kochamma, very similar to Ammu, she also has a history of divorce and heartbreak. Baby Kochamma, when she was very young, she fell in love with Father Mulligan, and he was a young Irish priest who had come to IMNM. Now, to get closer to him, Baby Kochamma had converted herself from Hinduism to Christianity and accepted Roman Catholicism and joined a convent against her father's wishes. Now, after a few months, like Ammu, she realized that her vows brought her no closer to the man she loved, because her father eventually rescued her from the convent and sent her to America. Right? So, because of her unrequited love for Father Mulligan, Baby Kochamma vows never to marry any other person and to pursue a life of eternal bachelorhood. So, she never married any other person in her life, and she became deeply embittered over time, right? And she used to delight in the misfortune of others and constantly manipulates to bring calamity, disaster into others' life. This is how she used to take pleasure. Now, in a parallel setting in England, Margaret's second husband died, and with taking her daughter Sophie, Margaret comes to India and began to live in Chako's house, and there was a bit of reconciliation between these two former lovers, husband and wife, and Chako began to live with Margaret. Now, in this point, Arundhati Roy is focusing on the socio-political turbulence that was taking place in the contemporary time in Kerala, and I am referring especially to the communist uprising at that time. Now, when Chako went to airport to receive Margaret and Sophie, on return they went to a theatre to watch a movie. And on the way to the theatre, they encounter a group of communist protesters who surrounded the car and forced baby Kochamma to shout and to raise communist slogans, which deeply humiliated her. Rahel saw that Velutha was present in that march, in that protest, and Velutha was their servant who used to work in the pickle factory. Subsequently, at the theatre, Estha, the boy Esthappan, is sexually molested by a vendor whom he calls as orange drink, lemon drink man. Now, this is very interesting that not only a woman, not only a girl can be sexually harassed, but also a little boy can also be sexually manipulated by an adult. Esther's experience factors into the tragic events at the heart, which lies at the heart of the narrative. Now, when baby Kochamma returned to their home and she eventually got to know that Rahel had seen Velutha in the protest, she was enraged. And as a result, she associated Velutha with her humiliation at the protester's hand, and she begins to develop an enmity towards him. Velutha is a Dalit, he is a Paravan, a lower caste, which is the caste which is considered as a low caste in Kerala. So Rahel and Esther form an intimacy with Velutha, an unlikely bond with Velutha, who is to love Rahel and Esther very much. And this intimate, loving relationship between these twin brothers and sisters and Velutha forced or compelled Ammu to develop an intimacy, to develop a romantic liaison with Velutha. So this is by this point things get intricated. It is her children's love for Velutha that causes Ammu to realize her own attraction, and ultimately they had a sexual intercourse. Eventually, when her relationship with Velutha got discovered, Ammu is locked in a room and Velutha is banished. In her rage, Ammu blames the twins for her misfortune. Now, after being severely rebuked, Rahel and Esther decided to run away from home. Eventually, in their escape during the night, as they try to reach an abandoned house across the river, the boat gets drowned and Sophie, who went along with them, she dies. When Margaret and Chaco returned from Egypt, they were absent during these incidents. When these incidents had occurred, they were absent. And after their return, they saw that their daughter Sophie, her dead body is lying on the sofa. How pathetic. So baby Kochamma goes to the police station and accuses Velutha of murdering Sophie and abducting Rahel and Esther, which was absolutely false. Now the twins, huddling in their abandoned house, witness the horrific incident. Later, when they reveal the truth to the police chief, he is alarmed and he is afraid that if this false narrative gets exposed to the other people, then a communist revolt will take place. So he threatens to hold baby Kochamma responsible for falsely accusing Velutha. So to save herself, baby Kochamma tricks Rahel and Esther into believing that the two of them would be implicated as having murdered Sophie and they will be sent to jail. So they were small children and they were afraid, and what they did, as per the instruction of baby Kochamma, to lie to the inspector, give a false narrative that Velutha had kidnapped them and he had murdered Sophie. Now, Velutha being severely beaten by the police, as they used to treat convicts in the prison, inside the lockup, at that night, Velutha dies, succumbing to his injuries. After Sophie's funeral, Ammu goes to the police station to reveal the truth about her relationship and Velutha and what had actually happened at that night. Now, in that police station, the police officer sexually assaulted Ammu by tapping her breast with a stick. So, baby Kochamma convinces Chaco that Ammu and the twins were responsible for his daughter's death, which eventually led to the banishment of Ammu with her children. Esther never sees Ammu again, and his mother, Ammu, dies alone a few years at the age of 31. Now, the narrative shifts forward to the year 1993, which after a turbulent childhood and adolescence in India, Rahel gets married and goes to America. There also, she divorces her husband. So, three separation taking place in the novel. First, the separation of Ammu with her husband, the separation of baby Kochamma with Father Mulligan, and at last we also find that Rahel has also divorced her wife, her husband. So Rahel and Esther, who are now both at the age of 31, they are reunited for the first time since they were children. So they had been haunted by guilt and a traumatic childhood, a grief-ridden past, and it becomes apparent that these twins never found another person who understood them in the way they understand each other. So a reconciliation takes place between these two twin brothers and sisters, and there is an aspect of incest in this novel, where these two brothers and sisters have sex and consummate their love affair. So this is a very problematic exposition embedded by the author. Now in my next lecture I shall discuss the important themes and issues concerning this text. Thank you.